With that, I will transition to my colleague, Mark Smith, and he'll give you a little bit more insight into our thought process when we chose the home energy monitor.
Thank you, Mark. Again, my name is Mark Smith from Reliant Energy. And as the focus of this discussion, we want to talk a little bit more about IHDs, or the Reliant Home Energy Monitor, as we named it. This product was launched basically back in May of 2011. As Mark said, we've distributed over 10,000 of these to date. Just a brief overview of basically what it is. It's a free product that we offer to current customers. It has also been offered as an incentive to new customers as well. It is reduced to those customers that basically are single-family homes, and of course they need a smart meter in order to participate in this program. One interesting fact is the reason why it's called the home energy monitor versus an in-home display. We did some early research where customers really perceived the idea of in-home display as truly their TV. So we tested some other naming concepts, and home energy monitor resonated best with our customers. And like I said, 10,000 of these deployed. They are a Zigbee 1.x IHD. This is the Tendril Insight product, again, that we renamed. And we believe this is one of the largest hand deployments in the country, and we believe is the largest IHD deployment in the U.S. The HEM, as I'll talk about it, is a real-time proportion of Reliant's insights. It has a 10-second read of the meter. And this really allows customers the ability to understand what things are using. As Mark said before, if I were to turn on my air conditioner, I need the ability to try to understand, hey, how much is this using? One of the use cases is basically to take the home energy monitor, walk around your house, and try to understand, basically cut off as many devices as you can to understand what your usage baseline is. And one thing we've seen is a lot of families having kids that they enlist their kids to run around the house and turn off devices on their way out to try to get that baseline usage as low as possible. And it also provides customers choice of how they want to get their energy information. So they have a choice of either the weekly summary email, the home energy monitor, their portal, mobile devices. There's plenty of ways to get information, and this allows them, to put it in the right context. And with that, there's different ways to use the energy monitor. There's alerts and notifications. One of the nice features of this device that a lot of our customers use, it has a way to tie in backlight color into the alerting feature. So if you're using, say I were to set $1 an hour consumption as a alert threshold, the display will turn red at that point. So it'll be normally green, will progress through a yellow color, and then turn red if you're using a lot of consumption that would have it visually appealing. It makes it for an easy check in the morning as you walk by it and you look and say, oh, everything's green, I'm doing great. Like I said, it gets you that baseline usage. Here I'll let Mark Eddings talk a little bit about some of our customer feedback on this device.
Thank you, Mark Smith. Mark mentioned earlier that we've distributed over 10,000 of these devices, and over the last 18 months or so, we have used numerous techniques in order to get these into customers' homes. In some cases, we decided that the best way to get it out was to bundle it with an electricity plan. So if a brand new customer called our call center and signed in an area where the home energy monitor was available, and they had a single-family home, we would include it with their new customer information as a welcome gift, if you will. While we saw some success with that deployment technique, we found that a lot of customers, because they hadn't necessarily pre-selected themselves into the plan, we didn't get the same connect rates that we had been seeking. So we, for the most part, have discontinued bundling them with plans and instead have moved to a model where we promote it through appropriate channels, such as on their online account management site with in-bill communications, as standalone email promotions, and we encourage our customers to log into a specific site and make a request to have the home energy monitor sent to them. And of course, once you have a customer who has taken that initiative, you have a much, much, much better hit rate as far as them receiving it and properly installing it and then using it thereafter and getting the benefit that we want them to get and that we as a company want to receive as a result of them having it. So I want to spend a couple minutes here quickly and give you some information about what our customers who do have these in their home have been telling us. And generally, just as a baseline, the response has been really, really positive. And the funny thing is, we've got some examples where customers have spent many, many hours, and in some cases thousands of dollars, doing home energy improvements, new insulation, all kinds of new appliances in their home in order to make their home as energy efficient as possible. And when you ask them what they want to talk about most, often it comes back to this little simple display that sits on their kitchen counter or somewhere in their house. And I think the reason for that is because while people are familiar with new insulation and maybe upgraded appliances and different things in their home, no one really is familiar with something that will tell them how much energy they're using, much less how much it costs, real time, and having that information at their fingertips. It's not something that people are familiar with. So once a customer gets them in their home, we found that generally it's become a bit of a conversation piece for them, and they really do get the whole family involved in using it. Earlier, Mark Smith mentioned that some families like to make it a bit of a game with their kids. So what we found, a recommendation that we've given the folks is, let's figure out what your base load is. In other words, if you're using as little electricity as possible in your house, as little discretionary electricity in your house as possible, let's find out how much that is generating. So think of this as, if you are leaving for a weekend and you don't want to be wasting electricity, what should that home energy monitor be telling you when your AC is turned off and all of your discretionary appliances and such are turned off? And once a family has done that, often we've seen that they won't leave their house until they can see that they have reached that threshold on the home energy monitor. Otherwise, they know that something has been left on that shouldn't have been, and they're wasting money. So customers like it very much so for that real-time feedback and the sense of control that it gives them that many customers say that they never had before, especially from a real-time perspective. There still is a large leap between I'm getting information, say on a Monday, from an email that tells me how I did last week for my week's usage versus, I just turned on the microwave and literally I can see that my cost has gone from 37 cents per hour up to 97 cents per hour as long as that device is running. That level of clarity has made a big difference. And then one other thing I wanted to mention is the home energy monitor itself, from an installation and usage perspective, they reported that it was very easy to use. So, not everyone who has requested it is a techie, but they are interested in the information. So the fact that all they had to do was take it out of the box, plug it in, and because we sent it to them pre-provisioned for their specific home's smart meter, once it joins and automatically starts giving the information back to the customer, they found that they've gotten over any concerns that they were going to have to learn how to program it or decipher the information. It's really relatively straightforward and easy to use. And we've seen customers successfully use them to reduce their usage and generally to have a better perception of Reliant energy, which naturally, again, in a competitive market is where one of our biggest motivators comes from as far as our investment in smart energy, both to help our customers and to give them a reason to select us over our competition. I'll transition to Mr. Smith to take us down the last part of our section. So, Mark?
Thanks, Mark. A lot of this we've already hit, and I just want to talk to again is, reiterate the fact that data without IHD in the home is at best 23 hours delayed by the time it gets to the customer and could be as old as 48 hours. We like to say that we're great at presenting yesterday's data tomorrow. One way to put it. Also is where this fits in our whole suite of products. Remember the wheel that Mark reviewed earlier, that eSense is truly our real-time energy component, where our weekly summer email is really a week-to-week view, and you can think of the online account management portal as anywhere in between and a real deep dive into your data that provides a lot more analytics. The customer market research that drove us to the features that we decided to select, we went out with quantitative product research back in 2008. And the features that were considered must-haves was, number one is, give me a feature that shows me how much money I'm saving. Customers understand dollars and not necessarily kilowatts and kilowatt hours. They're interested in saving electricity. It's a secondary to savings, but they understand that saving electricity leads to saving money and helping the environment. Those of moderate and low appeal, environmental features they considered somewhat important, but out of context were not as valuable as saving money and saving electricity. Those of low appeal were things like bells and whistles such as weather, time, traffic news, those type of things that you get on a more connected device, as well as MP3 players. They're better devices in the home to play your music on, as well as display photos. The photo frames they saw as really as a gift item. Put in context at the time of this research, in 2007, photo frames were the most popular gift available. The goal of Reliant's IHD program, as Mark stated before, is that in a competitive market, satisfaction and retention are king. It's very similar to the telco market. Acquisition and retention are key metrics, as well as service differentiation. With 45 other retailers with greater than 250 different products, it's important for us to have a product differentiator in the market. And also in the timing of this, capitalizing on the rollout of AMI meters. We're in the process of rolling out 6 million meters across the competitive areas of Texas, and it was important for Reliant to really step up and get a product out there showing that we were a market leader in this area. And finally, as we talked about before, is the direct IHD to meter integration. The real-time aspect is key, really giving them that granular insight that they just can't get from 15-minute data.